Nonviolence, Opportunity, and Worth. This is our first time coming together as a group, and we're so excited about being here at the Rainbow Push Coalition. On behalf of Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson and the Jackson family, my name is Reverend Bobby Lewis, and we welcome you all here. As Zion said, give yourselves a round of applause just for showing up, just for making it here. I get the opportunity to work with a powerful woman in our community. She leads a lot of our efforts here at the Rainbow Push Coalition, and she's known around the world for her civil rights work. So I want to introduce you right now to the Reverend Dr. Jeanette Wilson. Give her a hand.
Good evening. How are you? Y'all got to do better than that. Good evening. Well, I'm not young. I was at one time. So this is for youth and young adults, and I am so excited to bring to you a person whose father taught me much of what I learned about strategy, nonviolent resistance, how to read the newspaper, and understand how they were forecasting actions that were to happen later. He taught me how to read magazines like Time, and he was really just brilliant. He was James Bevel, one of the strategists and people who worked with Dr. King when he was alive. A lot of people love him now, but he was with him when he was alive. His daughter, Dr. Sherry Bevel, is one of the most brilliant organizers and really people that have trained. She has trained people all across the world, and particularly all across America, in the nonviolent tradition. It's very easy for you to curse somebody out when they stop you. It's far more difficult to stand and not move. No matter what they say, you don't respond. And it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of strength of character. This lady she graduated from Whitney Young High School, and then she just went to college forever. She went to the University of Illinois, University in Florida, and University of Chicago, and has several earned degrees. But what I like about her, she has been spending her life's work training young people like you on how to organize and how to prepare to take control of society and a government that is waiting for you. And at PUSH, we are excited that you're here because this is Dr. King's workshop, this very room where you are seated, where you will learn how to, not just how to lead, but how to lead effectively. A lot of people are leaders, but you're not going anywhere. Dr. Sherry Bevel, give her a round of applause as she comes.
Yeah, Frank, you can just advance through the first two. So there's one that says nonviolence versus non-violence. And while you do that, I will introduce you all to Kobe Lofton, my co-facilitator. Kobe is a level 2 nonviolence trainer. He comes out of North Lawndale College Prep, which was an experiment in nonviolence. One of his teachers she's everything. And she was exposed to some of the stuff we're going to begin to look at. And she's still a chemistry teacher. But she said, man, I'm going to take this stuff and see what I can do with my students at North Lawndale. Kobe can tell you a little bit more about that. And then we're going to get started. And I am privileging you all doing things. So we're just going to call this a exploration of nonviolence. Kobe, say a little bit about yourself as far as North Lawndale. Here.
Thank you. How we doing, guys?
Good.
Good, thank you. So my name's Kobe with a K. And so this all started for me back in 2017 as a freshman, so the work had already begun. Like she said, she's soon to be a doctor, Miss Childress Price, she went out to Rhode Island to get her certification in King and Nonviolence, brought it back to North Lawndale to train a group of students. Why did she do that? Because in the 2007-2008 school year, NLCP seen a peak of 100 fights that school year. How can you learn when there's that much violence within a building, right? It's only 187 days within a school year. That means they only had 87 days without somebody fighting, right? So she went, got that training, brought it back, and then that very next year, the violence in the building decreased by like 43%. So it was a major decrease, and then each year it just got better and better and better. So now the school is still going, and it still have Peace Warriors, and they now average a B+, A- for a full school year with the absence of violence. So that's kind of where I came in. I've been across the, not across the world just yet, but I have had the opportunity to travel 27 states, over 150 cities, doing this work, and then training people who look like you and I. And yeah, that's a little bit about me, and we can go ahead and move forward.
Okay, so you all saw that we had "What is Nonviolence" up here on the screen. So let's work on that. What you got for me, Frank? Okay, go back. Okay. We're going to have an imaginary slide in here. So imagine the word nonviolence, N-O-N hyphen violence, and then imagine it all as one word with no hyphen. Non with a hyphen, non-dash violence, and then nonviolence as a whole word. If I put non-hyphen violence, what would you think that means? What am I saying? What's the prefix non? N-O-N means what? Not violent? Not, right. Without violence. So some people look at it, it's a really kind of unfortunate word, but it's an old word, and we should keep it because it's our stuff. So the absence of violence does not guarantee the presence of justice. So when we say not violent, I could get into it with Miss Pam. We're swinging purses at each other, the lady that so kindly made sure that we had food. And some of you all could separate us, but without some other stuff, are we at peace with each other? Is the problem solved? No. So that's what non-hyphen violence means. Anybody familiar with what nonviolence means as a noun? As a noun, what might I be talking about if I say nonviolence? Anybody taking a stab? It is. Oh, do it. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here.
I think as a noun, it would mean a state of peace.
Yes, good.
She said she want to participate.
All right,
too.
good.
Yeah, well, I think it would be kind of similar to the one with the hyphen, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so the one with the hyphen is inside of there, right? So you don't want people actively in aggressive conflict with each other. But without the hyphen, what we're talking about when we say nonviolence, and this is actually making me a little sad, and I'll tell you why in a little while. When we say nonviolence, we are talking about a body of ideas and strategies and history by which people, particularly our people, have resisted tyranny, have resisted oppression. So it's a set of tools. It's history. There was nonviolence in India when a group of people who didn't have all the guns and all that stuff, but they figured out a way during British colonialism to put the British out of India. So that's when India got independence. So what happened is a lot of black scholars were like, what did they just do? How did they do that? So you know that American colonists put the British out of here, right? but they used guns, and there were relatively few British soldiers here, so they were able to do that. So it was part of that period in world history. So how do you get people's boots off your neck? That's the central question there. It can be used to learn new ways to deal with conflict in the neighborhood, in your high school, but the part of it that I'm interested in you all having access to is with the things that were going on in the South, and we'll look at that a little bit. How were our grandparents able to make breakthroughs to get us more ground, to make it so that, I often ask students, because there are people who are vested in you not knowing that there was a time not too long ago when, you had to go to the back of the bus. In Virginia, if a white person was passing, you had to step off the sidewalk, look down, and let them pass. Just all kind of crazy stuff. Well, our ancestors figured out ways to fight back and change that, and so that's what the nonviolence that I want to get into a little bit. Yeah.
So just to sum it up a little bit, just because I know it'd be some people like me, like, oh, so what does that mean in English, right? Right, I already know, y'all ain't got to be shy. So, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but when you think of non-violence, it's just the absence of violence. So we can all be full of tension, we can all be upset, angered, we just not acting on it. Nobody's moving, nobody's, it's just neutral. But when you have non-violence without the hyphen, it's the practice thereof. So then you actually applying, like she said, the tools, the applications, things like that, just so it can make a little bit, a little bit more sense for y'all.
Yeah, right. So I said that at the beginning. One is just the absence of violence, but we want to make sure we have the presence of justice. No justice, no peace. So let's take a look at the, anybody know who Autherine Lucy is? And then we're going to, I figured. Well, I think you all should know her. So, Frank, if you could. So this is a picture of her. And a picture's worth 1,000 words. This is a really short clip that'll explain who she is, who she was. She passed not too long ago. I want the clip. Thanks, Frank. So, this is a clip from Eyes on the Prize, and I like the content of it, but also the amazing Julian Bond is narrating. You see a little bit of Thurgood Marshall in here. It's just a lot in a couple minutes. Can you all hear that? Can you all hear?
Was this the start of a new civil war?
I know the one thing we did
So there's a time.
was the day we started to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on. Keep your eyes on the prize. Hold on.
Desegregation is against the Bible. I find my scripture for this in Genesis 9:27, where God did segregate and separate the three sons of Noah, sending one out.
This is him giving a rationale on why they can't go to school with black people. But I think it's like at minute 2, it's on the case of the DVD. 2 something and 3 something. It's right after this little segment. Okay, good, cool. We'll get there quickly. Yeah, it's like 2:16. Keep going. It's like at 2:16, something like that. Keep coming up with. You can let it roll. It's less than a minute. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Let's leave it. Let's go right into it.
And that was the resistance. They are not going to get equal treatment. What do you mean? Go to school with my little daughter? And that is why resistance.
In the late 1950s, the battle for civil rights was fought in the classrooms of the South. The Supreme Court had ruled in a case called Brown versus Board of Education that segregated schools were unconstitutional under the 14th Amendment. Many Southerners saw the decision as an attack on their heritage.
NAACP. Board of Education was a federal ruling that said that schools had to be integrated. You couldn't discriminate against black students, basically.
Committees in Florida and in other states really frightened us.
And the white resistance could also be violent. In February 1956, a black woman named Autherine Lucy was quietly admitted to the all-white University of Alabama. But the night after she arrived, students and townspeople began a riot. The university suspended Lucy temporarily, it said, for her own protection. And Autherine Lucy sued, claiming that mob rule was being allowed to overturn the law.
What brought about these actions, I feel, is that lawless elements outside the campus set themselves over and above the law. Their actions brought great discredit to our nation.
The charge has been made, and made by some fairly moderate people, gradualists you might call them, that the NAACP, with General Counsel you are, is moving too far, too fast. That following the decision of the Supreme Court, you would have been well advised to let things move along gradually for a while, that you can't overthrow the prejudices of 300 years overnight.
You can't, or maybe you can't, override prejudice overnight. But the Emancipation Proclamation was issued in 1863, 90-odd years ago. I believe in gradualism. I also believe that 90-odd years is pretty gradual.
This is important. The Board of Trustees expelled her anyway, even though she won her case in court. And what we're going to do next is some of the people among you are going to share with you Dr. King's response. They expelled her, and they said they were doing it for her own good. So, what I would like for you to do is put yourself back in, I think we're in 1956, 56. We're in Dexter Avenue Baptist Church in Montgomery. Dr. King is about to enter the pulpit. The following day, he's due in court because he's been charged on an anti-boycott law for the Montgomery bus boycott. So he's about to have to deal with some other court stuff. And the newspapers and the word around town is things are quiet in Tuscaloosa. That's where the University of Alabama is. There is peace on the campus now.
Yes, things are quiet in Tuscaloosa. Yes, there was peace on the campus, but it was peace at a great price. It was peace that had been purchased at the exorbitant price of an inept trustee board succumbing to the whims of a vicious mob. It was peace that had been purchased at the price of allowing mobocracy to reign supreme over democracy. It was peace that had been purchased at the price of catapulting to the force of darkness. This is the type of peace that all men of goodwill hate. This is the type of peace that is obnoxious. It is the type of peace that stinks the nostrils of the Almighty God.
Thank you, Zane.
Now, let me hasten to say that this is not a concession to or a justification for physical war. I can see no more justification for that type of war. I believe absolutely and positively that violence is self-defeating. War is devastating, and we know now that if we continue to use these weapons of destruction, our civilization will be plunged across the abyss of destruction. However, this is a type of war that every Christian is involved in. It is a spiritual war. It is a war of ideas. Every true Christian is a fighting pacifist.
In a profound passage which has been often misunderstood, Jesus uttered this. He says, "Think not that I am come to bring peace. I come not to bring peace, but a sword." Certainly he is not saying that he comes not to bring peace in a higher sense. What he is saying is, I come not to bring this peace of escapism, this peace that fails to confront the real issues of life, the peace that makes for a stagnant complacency. Then he says, I come to bring a sword, not a physical sword. Whenever I come, I conflict a precipitation between the old and the new, between justice and injustice, between the forces of light and the forces of darkness. I come to declare war over injustice. I come to declare war on evil. Peace is not merely the absence of some negative force, war, tension, confusion, but it's the presence of something positive. Justice, goodwill, the power of the kingdom of God.
I had a long talk with a man the other day about this bus situation. He discussed the peace being destroyed in the community, the destroying of good race relations. I agree that it is more tension now, but peace is not merely the absence of this tension, but the presence of justice. And even if we didn't have this tension, we still wouldn't have positive peace. Yes, it is true that if a Negro accepts his place, accepts exploitation and injustice, there will be peace. But it would be a peace boiled down to stagnant complacency, deadening passivity, and if peace means this, I don't want peace.
If peace means accepting second-class citizenship, I don't want it. If peace means keeping my mouth shut in the midst of injustice and evil, I don't want it. If peace means being complacently adjusted to a deadening status quo, I don't want peace. If peace means a willingness to be exploited economically, dominated politically, humiliated and segregated, I don't want peace. So in a passive, nonviolent manner, we must revolt against this peace. And Jesus says in substance, I will not be content until justice, goodwill, brotherhood, love, yes, the kingdom of God are established upon the earth. This is real peace, a peace embodied with the presence of positive good, the inner peace that comes as a revolt of doing God's will.
So often, if Dr. King is taught in schools, we're lucky if we get to I Have a Dream, which is a great speech. I love that one. Makes me cry every time I listen to it. But this one makes me want to shout. You know, this one makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. You know, this one is about not backing down, but choosing a different set of tools. So why don't we talk, Kobe, I had this slide. I told Reverend Wilson I was going to find the slide. I haven't found the slide yet. I don't use it much because it's a real messy slide, but I'll tell you what's on it. It's a list of all the campaigns from the civil rights movement in the 60s and the year and what they gained. So some of the results, I just tell you quickly, Brown v. Board was kind of the start of it. Desegregated buses across the South. The Civil Rights Act, which meant you can't discriminate against people in public accommodations. You can't have a lunch counter and tell the black folks, well, you can't sit down, you can't try on clothes in the store. So the Civil Rights Act eliminated a lot of that. You can't go to the public library. These were the conditions that people were dealing with. You can't use the swimming pool in the park. The Voting Rights Act. So my point with this is, you're going to study how to get freedom. Look at the people who actually accomplished the things. So we're going to ask them about why.
So looking at the room, right? There's one that I want to share. One of the movements that I want to share with you guys that you may not know of is the Children's March. Anybody aware of the Children's March? No? All right, I'm going to tell y'all a little bit. I got about 2 minutes, right? Tell them real quick. 30 seconds.
You can tell the results of it. I was just
okay, the result of it. So, right. All right, so the result of the Children's March, basically, they all filled up the jails, all kids, they filled up the jails, and pretty much that helped move the movement pretty much a lot. And it was all nonviolent. They was getting dogs stuck on them. They was getting hoses on them. Like, it was real bad. So what I want to know from you guys is, why is it important, or why would most people use a nonviolent practice, or, you know, a nonviolent way if they so choose? Any volunteers? Y'all get it?
My name is Javon, but I think the reason they would choose nonviolence is because it displays a discipline, self-discipline, the ability to not engage in what's going on around them while still remaining in solidarity, and I think that's the main reason they did that.
That's good. You got something? I'm making my way back in just a second.
My name's Yannick, and I think they would use nonviolence to de-escalate the situation. I think it reduces any type of flaring or any type of anger, and reduces any violence for coming in the situation at all.
That's great. Yeah, so as a strategist, one of the things my dad was proudest of is through all those civil rights battles, we can count the people who were killed. You know, and you think about where we lose 50,000 people from here during the Vietnam War and a couple million in Vietnam. So, yes, it does bring the temperature down. Zion, why might people want to use nonviolence? What are some of the advantages?
What we hear all the time in movies like fire with fire makes fire, and innocent people that's around gets hurt, and that's probably the majority why.
Any more? Okay.
My name is Blake, and I felt as if going back in the day with Martin Luther King, a lot of the main pivoting points in Black history has been through nonviolence. Because I feel like a lot of police, it was shown it was one-sided due to the fact that it's when people aren't trying to fight back and you're trying to make a point and prove a point, it kind of shuts people down. And that's why I feel like it really helped our society grow and move. Thank you. Makes a lot of sense.
Hi, y'all. I'm Zaya Janae. Something I can say that I see in day-to-day discussions or even arguments is when you remain neutral, you allow for that person to see the point you're trying to get across. Usually in an argument when somebody is trying to get their point across in an aggressive manner, the other person won't receive it because then their finding a way to be, I don't want to say a victim, but finding fault in you, rather than if you deliver your message clear and concise without emotion, then they can see what you're trying to say.
Yeah, so before we go into the next, I want you all to think about one of the Kingian principles is avoid internal violence of the spirit as well as external physical violence. So when you think about the things that you want to say, or if you just take a moment to like step back before you act, then you'll 9 times out of 10 practice nonviolence.
Yeah. Oh, my name is Sierra. I was going to say something similar to the last two people, but like with nonviolence, it kind of gets you to think about the endless opportunities that are available. So instead of thinking about things from a standpoint of, being angry or sad or, a lack thereof, I'm thinking about it in terms of like freedom and like what all you can do.
That's great. In terms of more detail on that, we can save it for another day. But it's really good to hear what people are thinking about taking, non-violent approaches to solving conflicts. You all can be a group. Yeah, you all can be a group because then we'll go right into the panel discussion. Kobe, you want to introduce the small group exercise? So what we want you to do is, at your table, put yourself in groups of 3 or 4 and find out, like each end of a table is good. Find out everybody in your group's first name and what their primary concern is in terms of what they're seeing in the country, in their neighborhood, in your school. What are you most concerned about? This shouldn't take very long, and just kind of wave at us when you kind of are done, so we'll have an idea. So you all should be you all can be a group. You all can be a group. You all know each other's names, but what are you concerned about?
Hey, y'all, make sure y'all remembering what y'all saying, because next we're going to get into a bigger group and we're going to condense these situations, all right? Hey, y'all, just so we can remember, there are sheets of paper in front of y'all, so just jot down the different ideas that y'all come up with, so when we combine, y'all can just combine the list, all right? Thank you. All right, y'all, real quick. Bring it back just for a second, guys. If y'all can mix in with that back group. Yep, this group, y'all mix in with that back group. And then left side, y'all looking. If you three right here can mix in with this front.
Across your tables on this side. At this point, I want you all to talk to them. And so the idea was just to kind of aggregate the things that really concern the greatest number of people in an informal, messy kind of way. So, like what are the 3 or 4 things that on this side of the room people find themselves most concerned about? The median age on that side of the room is lower, but if you all can, just for a few minutes, I want the concerns of the greatest number of people to kind of filter out and rise to the top of a collective list. So, kind of figure out a way to see. Yeah, they got together. Yeah. Just for 20 or 30 seconds is all it should take. You all read your list. Yeah, just for a few seconds. Yes. And so, just start reviewing the things that you've heard the most from the people you've been talking to. Oh, you know what? We can make it 3 groups. Let's make it 3 groups. So you all are together. That's fine. So let's have our report out soon. Okay. So you all ready? You all ready? Okay, great. Okay. No, we're about to come out of groups. You'll see what we did. Okay, so what we ended up with is 3 groups. Pick somebody in your group to give us the top 3 or 4 things that you've been hearing in terms of people being concerned about, and somebody should capture this. I don't have a big chart.
I just gave up my... Y'all still need that?
Thanks. Okay, so this group, I have faith in you because you all are all in a tight knot. Okay, let's listen, and then somebody from this group, and then someone from back there. Okay, what's your name?
My name's Yannick.
Yannick, what were you all hearing? The top 3 or 4 things.
The top 3 or 4 things that we heard. First, we have ICE. We feel like ICE is definitely a threat. We have the lack of self-love / mental health, learning how to love yourself, which can allow you to love everybody else. And then we also have leadership, understanding what true leadership means, because true leadership isn't always being the one in the front, but instead being in the one in the back and uplifting your brothers and sisters.
All right, y'all. So I need a representative from this group and a representative from that group. Oh, I see you standing up. Cool.
Okay, hi, my name is Sierra. So we talked about a couple different things. One of the biggest ones was that like everyone's doing the same thing. So like you have like a lot of the organizations that like have the same mission, but then not a lot of people work together. So that's one thing. Also, we were talking about like how children, how they're taught, how they're raised, like this big generational cycle, you know, how things get passed on. Like if they're not taught like education, politics, anything like that, then when they get older, they won't know how to, you know, teach children, you know, underneath them. And then I think our third thing was lack of resources. So we talked about like things like food insecurities, you know, lack of investment in the community, and, you know, that takes, you know, funding. So it's like who's advocating for everyone in the community and stuff like that. And violence too. But yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kimberly. I'm representing this section of the room. We talked about sanctioned violence being a problem in the community, and we talked about ICE impacting many of us. We talked about how much money and resources do we need so that we could call and develop our own shots. We talked about the tyranny of the government. How do you achieve personal empowerment? How do you build an economic base? And we talked about the demolition of policies and even the demolition of the East Wing of the White House. That speaks volumes about what's happening spiritually, mentally, emotionally in the community.
Thank you, guys. So we did have a scribe, so we made sure we got all this down. Now what we're going to do, guys, is a panel. I'll give those guys some time to introduce themselves, and we'll get right to it.
Okay. How y'all doing? My name is CJ Young, but creatively, I'm a writer and a rapper and a journalist from the South Side of Chicago, youngin. Yeah. I'm 22.
What's poppin', y'all? My name is Juby, creatively known as Juby the God. I'm a rapper, filmmaker, and a producer from the South Side of Chicago, and I'm 23.
What's going on, y'all? I go by the name of Big Mouth Bo. I am a musical artist, and I work behind TV shows such as The Shy and Power. Outside of that, I am a community activist. I sit on the board of a few different nonprofits, and we just service our community. Y'all want me to say my age? I'm 31.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Zaya Janae. I'm an artist from the South Side of Chicago. I'm 17 years old, soon to be 18 in a couple days. That's me.
Yo, what's up? I'm Zion Ali. What's my name?
Zion Ali.
Right on. I'm a youth empowerment artist. I perform at a bunch of schools, nonprofits, and political events to unite communities and youth through music. So that's my mission. Right on. Oh, yeah. I'm 23.
All right, so I just got a couple questions. Give me.
If you all have something that you want to say to start off, like an opening statement that's, you know, a minute and a half. You know,
You ain't got nothing?
Just get into questions. If anybody does, that's fine.
Any opening statement, or we can just jump right in. It's up to you. You want to jump right in? Okay.
Okay, groovy. So let's start this off. So I'm about to ask this question. What inspired you to first start creating music, and what message did you want people to take from it? You can go, Isaiah. You can start first.
What inspired me to start creating music, honestly, was my parents. All throughout the house, my dad, he would be producing beats when I was little. My mom, she would be singing around the house, and I just really grew up with music. And that's what initially inspired me. And then you said something else. What inspired me? And it was another part of that. And what message I wanted people to take from it. I think what I wanted people to take from it is a lot of values I grew up on in my house. Initially it started as, I just want people to see me, and, I have this voice and I want to express myself. But then it became, I want to start giving people confidence and instilling a lot of the tools I'm learning on my journey, such as that consistency is key, or that your mental determines a lot about, it's very strong if you're going towards any passion that you have. So that's something that I wanted to start including in my music.
All right, Bo?
What inspired me to start doing music, to piggyback a little bit off of Zaya, I come from a musically inclined background. My grandfather was a doo-wop singer, played a lot of different instruments. And then what inspires me to do music myself, my message for others is just freedom of your creativity. Don't have rules or limitations on yourself when it comes to your imagination or what you can create or what you can do. And if you have an idea that seems crazy, go after it. Simple.
Well, I'm kind of like the opposite. My family not really into music, so to say. I think a lot of us grew up singing in the church, so that's kind of where my love for music came through. Before I was a rapper, I was a singer. So a lot of my music, kind of inspirations came from like singing and dancing and doing everything, kind of creative. But for me, it was trying to express myself in the best way possible, because there's a lot of times where I felt like I wasn't being heard, or I feel like it's a lot of times where I honestly didn't relate to a lot of people. But with music, I was able to relate, and a lot of people who I grew up with didn't even know that they related to me on that level, because they was going through the same things in silence. So like the biggest message that I want to be able to, give to the world is just to keep pushing through, keep yourself grounded, stay true to who you are, and stay true to who you want to be. So yeah.
I think for me, during my high school years, like I didn't go to school in Chicago. I went to a boarding school in California in the Bay Area, and for that time, I didn't have like a method to really express myself without like the fear of being like judged in a way. So I found that I made it a point to just like fall in love with writing. So that was a space that I could really just like fully express myself without just like that fear, just having just judgment from just those around me. And after that, just music naturally just fell into place just with what I wanted to talk about. And I don't necessarily have like that much of a message that I wanted to convey. I'm just like documenting just the things that's going on around me, whether that's what's going on just with personal things or whether that's worldly things. So, yeah.
Right on. And for me, I would say I started off just loving music. I love piano. That's like the base of where I think music foundation is found from. And then as I grew and developed myself as an artist, as my manager Marshall developed me as an artist as well, we found our mission is to inspire youth through music. And just there's not a lot of music that's about encouraging yourself. There's so much music about hurting one another and killing one another, but there's not a lot of music that's going to encourage you to jump over that mountain and push you through that wall. So that's why I did that. Right on. So this is the second question. How do you feel your art has made an impact in the community so far? Zaya?
I feel like my music, which surprised me when people told me, people my age were like, dang, when I listened to this song, it gave me so much hope. Or even in songs where I'm not necessarily positive, it's like to know that you were going through that too, it made me feel like I had somebody going through it with me. And it was just an honor to feel like, dang, artists that I look up to, I was able to do that for my peers. So that's what I would say.
Bo?
I would say, wait, can you repeat the question real quick?
It's how do you feel your art has impacted your community so far?
Oh, okay. I feel like my art has impacted the community, one, by the accomplishments I was able to achieve just by displaying my art. Like when I first started doing poetry and doing like open mics, I was able to get the opportunity to like meet Chance the Rapper and go to Netflix. Right. Then outside of the music, actually being active in my community and doing the things I speak about in my music. Mm-hmm. So not only am I uplifting you with the music, but then I'm doing grocery giveaways or we're doing back to school drives, actively
impacting their lives.
Let's pause.
And
Can we get a
inspiring
clap
them.
for that real quick? Can we get a clap? Right on. Continue. No, you wasn't finished. Go
I
ahead.
would say I just feel my art inspired them physically as well to get out and actually be a part of your community and be a helping hand and be that change you want to see. So yeah.
Right on. Make some noise for that again. Right on. All right, Juby.
My music, it impacts the community, but I think the way that I convey myself and I like display what I do with my music on social media has really impacted the people around me or the people in my community. Starting off doing music, I was always searching up like what was the way to get put on, what was the ways that I could like figure it out or figure it out myself in a sense. And on every Google search, you can look it up right now. It'll probably tell you to go to an open mic. It'll tell you to get features from major artists. It'll tell you a bunch of different things, and you try to find an answer. You try to surface through everything. You try to invest so much money. You try to invest so much time. But, the love that I have for the music and the reason why I create it is not to become the biggest artist in the world. It's to become the best person or the best version of myself for everybody else to, feel like, yeah, I can stand by him or I can stand with him. So it's like me being on social media, like I posted on social media for like 2 years straight just to try to keep the consistency. And I had a lot of people around me, my older brother, people like really older than me, telling me that they looked up to me and I'm the only consistent thing in their lives. And that's like a big thing for me. And I didn't think, my drive to be bigger than myself was like even that impactful on anyone other than myself. So that was like the main thing for me.
That's real mighty, Juby. That's real mighty. All right, Youngin.
I don't really like keep track of just like how much my music would inspire the community per se, but I think the best way that I could just be out with it, or the best way that I could inspire the community is just actively being out within the community, not necessarily for the sake of shopping out a song or marketing a song or whatever, but actually just being within the community for the sake of just trying to be available to the community, you know what I mean? So with what we do with the John Wall Foundation, just being sure to giving out book bags to the students before school, or just being able to give youth creators a voice so they can actually have a voice to express themselves to the people that they can't necessarily express themselves to. Or just any ways that we can just give back to the community in the sense of not necessarily just for the sake of shopping a CD or a mixtape or whatever, just because we can,
Right on. Each one of these artists up here are making an impact through their music and just changing the game. Right on. Change the game. So make a noise. Make some noise for that. I got one more question. I need everybody to participate in this part. Take one deep breath. Now let it out. Right on. So I don't know if anybody asked you this today. How are you? And how are you dealing with that, still trying to be an artist? Zaya.
Well, I'm feeling good. I'm glad I'm here at this event. The energy of everybody in here makes me feel great. And then you said how, the second part.
How do you balance all the stuff that you deal with on a daily basis and still continue to be an artist?
I'll say it's been a lot of trial and errors. When I first started, I feel like sometimes we take the negative and we run with that rather than the positive. So I didn't hold on to the positive moments long enough. So eventually, of course, that's going to get to you. So I had to start really tapping into my mentality when it came to my journey and knowing that everything's not going to work out and that's okay. But that's a part of my journey, and that's why I'm on this journey. And all of this will help me in the long run. Of course, my family being by my side, I mean, if I did not have my family, the people around me who love me, I don't even know. When I'm down, they speak life into me. So keeping a close circle was always great. And, doing what I love. Having to say to myself, no matter what I'm doing, it's going to take a lot of hard work. So at least I'm doing what I love to do. And I know that I'm doing this and I'm going to inspire people doing it. So it may be hard, but that's the sacrifice that I'm willing to take. And yeah.
Right on, right on. Shout out to family, right on. Keep making those for family. Awesome. Bo?
How am I feeling?
Yep. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored, if I must say so. I am
Amen.
highly blessed. I will say the way that I balance everything is through my relationship and my faith with God. I live, I have good days, I have bad days. I journal, I pray, I meditate a lot. I make sure that I do take at least 24 hours out of a week just for myself, typically on Sundays. I call it self-care Sundays because I am a person that's normally very pretty much busy in a lot of different avenues. So I just make sure that I make time for myself. You have to make time for yourself, for your mental health, for your physical health, for your spiritual. And also I'm fasting at the moment as well, so that's how I get through it.
Make some noise for fasting, right on. Right on. All right, Juvie?
You said, what was the question again?
How are you, and how are you balancing the outside, external stuff that you can't control and what you can't control, and still pursue being an artist?
Well, I'm straight. You know, I'm cool. You know, God got me. So it's like,
Amen.
even if I'm not cool, I'm cool. It's a lot of things that goes into, you know, me being all right with my circumstances. A lot of things that I wanted to pan out hasn't panned out. But a lot of the things that I never dreamed of has now become my dreams that I'm living in currently. So it's a lot of give and take with understanding that, you know, sometimes things are not okay, and that's okay. Understanding that, you know, you want to be somewhere and then you're not there. Like, I wanted to play college basketball and go pro, and then I played college basketball but didn't go pro. But now I'm sitting here, you know, with a bunch of people that I really care about, a bunch of people that I really been rocking with for years, and then, like, I understand, like, you know what, maybe it was better for me to be here instead of there. So it's like, it's a lot of, the balance comes from keeping a level head to understand where it's okay. Everything, it's okay to be not okay. It's okay to be okay. It's okay to realize what you want to do.
Can we make some noise for that real quick?
Yeah, like, everything is everything, and everything is nothing at the same time. But it's all right. Everything is all right. You can be whatever you want to be as long as you put your mind to it, as long as you're working hard at it. And the fact that I work as hard as I do, like, I know I'm good. I know that God got me, regardless.
Groovy. All right, youngin'?
I'm not gonna lie, like, life is really, really hard right now. Like, life is really difficult, cause I work at this studio up north called Studio Shapes. It's on Clark and Surf, and on the other block is Clark and Oaksdale. I'm saying that to say, cause on Clark and Oaksdale, there just this past morning, like, ICE came through just looking for some people, to pick off, and it's really, really difficult. Because a lot of people, especially within, like, the creative community, will have, like, some sort of tunnel vision and will focus strictly on just, like, creative things and music and what have yous. But it's really hard to do that, especially when there's people around you that are not safe with just doing what they want to do or doing what they had to do just so they can survive, bro. Like, it's very, very difficult. I'm not gonna lie, it's difficult for me being up here right now, bro. Like, I'm not feeling okay. I'm really, really fucked up right now. Just seeing that there's so many people that's taken away from their families, that's taken away from their brothers, that's taken away from their sisters, moms, uncles, aunties, just because that somebody just around there is just trying to check a box. You know what I'm saying? It's really, really bad, and I'm trying. It's like, we feel helpless right now. Like, I feel really, really helpless, especially with my mom. Like, my mom, she's a nurse, and she nurses over at this elementary school. I came through looking for some kids at this elementary school, bro. It's really bad out here, like, and we're supposed to focus on art. We're supposed to focus on creativity. Like, I can't do that. I can't do that right now, and it's really bad. It's really bad, and I'm not gonna lie. Even though it's bad right now, I'm just glad that all of us are still here. We still breathing. and that's just the main thing that I'm grateful for in that sense. But I'm really uptight, but in the greater scheme of things, we still breathing in here. So yeah.
Can we make some noise for that real quick? Right on. That was powerful. Youngin, thank you, brother. Right on. Thank you. Okay, so do anybody have any questions? We're going to questions, right? We're not doing the questions? Yeah, you mind if we do 2 questions? For just for use, 2 questions. Yeah, from out there. Yeah. Make some noise for that. Thank you, youngin. So, okay, before you ask your question, tell us how are you, and then ask your question. Okay?
Any questions?
Okay, we got a question right there. Let's go. Awesome. Hey.
Peace and blessings. My name is Sister Naya. I am also blessed and highly favored. I just want to thank you all for this evening and this event. And my question was similar to what the sister just said. How can you use your artistry, the gifts that God blessed you with, to be nonviolent with everything that's happening in the world today, all the difficulty we're facing?
Who wants to take that question? Oh, okay. Juby, go ahead.
I think the key to use like art the way that we do, especially because, you know, we're very active and we really, if you ever heard anything that, you know, Bo has said on her songs or Youngin has said on his songs or what I've said on my songs or Zaya or Zion, like you can tell that we mean what we say. So I think the intention of making something that people could either stand up with or stand by and, you know, use it as a tool to get up out of bed in the morning. It's like a mantra. If you ever heard like certain songs that come out during certain times, it's like, you know, one of my favorite artists is J. Cole. And like when he had Be Free during that time when Mike Brown had got killed, it's like a song like that during that time could uplift a whole like community, a whole bunch of people to stand up for something. Because, you know, you don't want to sit back, you don't want to sit by and just watch, but you don't know what to do at the same time. And with a song like that can come from any one of us. It could be, you know, what actually gets you to get up and go out and protest or get out and do things to make sure that your neighbor is good or people in your household is all right. So I think that's the way, for real.
Somebody make some noise for that real quick. Come on. All right. We have one more question. Remember, tell us how you're feeling and how are you, and tell us your question.
My name's Yannick. Right now, I'm doing pretty good. Life has been a little upward slope, downward slope lately, but right now we're on the upward slope. And my question is, how do you guys keep like your mental health sane? I think mental health is a very like big important part to waking up every day and doing what you do. So how do you keep a perfect, or I'm not gonna say perfect, but how do you keep a good work-life balance? Like let work take over and still love yourself.
Yeah. Honestly, talk to somebody. It's nothing wrong with therapy. It's nothing wrong with praying. It's nothing wrong with expressing yourself. Talk to someone. Talk to someone. Talk to someone. Do not keep it in. It can be a friend. It could be a stranger. Me personally, I got my therapist through this amazing nonprofit called Mental Health Meets Hip Hop, where you combine both therapy and music. So I would say talk to someone. If you don't feel comfortable talking to someone, journal it. Journal out Just express yourself and get those feelings from the inside out. You always want to express yourself and don't have it bottled in. You know, you can talk to a coworker, a counselor, someone at your church. You can talk to one of us artists. We reach out to us. I'm pretty sure everyone up here feels the same way as I do, and we actually give advice to people. So yeah, just express yourself. Always feel comfortable. Always. Never keep it in.
Right on, right on. Somebody make some noise for that. Come on. All right. Okay.
Let me piggyback and have patience with yourself as well. Don't rush your process at all. At all.
Right on, right on. Okay, so I think we have a prayer, right? All right, everybody, if y'all could, you got a prayer? Okay, if everybody could stand up and grab your neighbor's hand, let's act like we're in church, right on?
Hello, everybody. My name is Stacy Griffin. I am an ordained priest, and I also am an artist, not just for the youth, but for the change of culture. So I'm going to go in with it. Father of the universe, I like to pray for every soul in this building, everybody we come in contact with. I ask that these words and these vibrations not only just stay in this building, but leave with amplified measures to touch everybody we come in contact with. It must be that we shift the culture. We are the culture, and just let this place not only start a shift for the people here, but people that are watching and everybody we touch with our voice. We know what we're going through, they know what we're going through, and we know what needs to be done, so there's not much to be said because what's already written is unfolding.